Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as Assistant Professor in Chevrolet Engineering College in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I am dealing the subject renewable energy sources, and today's topic in this is small scale hydroelectric plants. So these are the advantages we have discussed in before classes. Used in hilly and remote areas, small transmission lines, and we are having only less gestation periods, no environmental effect is there, and effect on stream ecology are also minor. So environmental effects are also minor. Next, before going to this impressions, we are having some small notes. The sites used for these low head installations, these can be found everywhere in the mountain ranges. Okay, so or we can find on the plains or even at the sea levels, whatever the land is present. Most of the 80% of the land will be at the seashores or near to the oceans. 80% of the land may be used for this small scale hydroelectric plants. So these may be ranges from microsets to large axial flow turbines. So up to, if you consider a large axial flow turbine, it can be taken up to 50 megawatts range also. And low head hydropower sites can be close to power consumption areas, which this is an advantage because no need of long transmission lines, only short transmission lines will be okay for us. So if you use these short transmission lines, the cost will be reduced. Okay, the tariff will be also be reduced here. In water, large areas like the Sundarbans in Bay of Bengal or remote hilly areas such as Ladakh, low head installations are usually a source of energy there. In this, the bulb turbine, youngest member in the family, this is the youngest member in the family of the hydro turbines, are used here in this small scale. Okay, so these bulb turbines, which includes generator, it is enclosed in a shell known as a bulb. Okay, the generator is enclosed in the shell. So this is called bulb. This can be conveniently installed horizontally on a low head stream. This bulb can be conveniently installed horizontally on a low head stream. So it has more or less straight flow path. It can work under head from as low as half meter and to a head of 95 meters. So what is the range of working operation of a bulb turbine means? Low is half meter and high one is 95 meters. And it can generate power as low one is 5 kilowatts and high up to maximum extent of it can generate 50 megawatts. And these can be easily modified to generate into a step of 100 kilowatts in a micro range and in a step of 1 million watts in a mini range. And for small, it is in a step of 5 megawatts. Okay, so they can be standardized in each steps. First, for micro, it is 100 kilowatts, and for mini, it is 1 megawatt, and for small, it is 5 megawatts. Okay, so these are the advantages of the small, hydel, and mini micro we have discussed up to now. So now the small hydropower potential, which remains largely untapped, it has some impressions. First one is it has the small hydroelectric projects entitled, that means it covers higher capital cost per kW installation basis, means it is having high capital cost on its installation basis. Second one is it has higher managerial and administrative costs. And third one is it is relatively low utilization content. Fourth one is relatively low utilization means this is a small hydropower plant and this is not utilized continuously. For on the surplus demand, we cannot depend on this small hydro turbines. And fourth one is unstable operation of isolated systems due to low inertia. So as this is a small one, it is having low inertia. So we are getting these unstable operations. Fifth one is problems by dispersed nature of projects in the site identification. That means we are getting some certain problems caused by the nature. Okay, so we are taking this as small, so the quality of the components used here will has to withstand the problems that are caused by the nature. Okay, so for this the projects and the reports what we are making, these should be of proper construction to withstand all the nature disasters. Okay, so these are the limitations of the small hydropower plant. Next, coming to why we are, these are the reasons we are discussing why we are, what is the cause for not denying place for small hydel in large energy framework. Okay, so we are doing this for only small energy framework. Small hydel plant is used for only small energy frameworks. Why we are not putting it to large, we will discuss now. First one is small or mini hydropower, that means SPH. It is called as abbreviated as small hydropower, SHP, sorry, SHP. So this is non-consumative. Okay, so non-consumative generator of electricity utilizing, these are because these are utilizing a renewable source which is made up of continually available through the hydrological cycle of equipment or environment. And second one is it is not polluting. That means SHP is essentially not polluting and it does not release any heat into the environment. And adverse environmental impacts are also negligible for this small installation. And this can be eliminated totally. Third one is that these do not require large capital investment. So with the development of compact efficient machines like today's development as bulk turbines, these machines which are invested for these machines, what is the cost investing per kW is not very high. So SHP projects do not require large capital investment. And fourth one is it has low gestation periods of 8 to 24 months. So compared to other conventional energy generating schemes, these projects have low gestation period. It is ranging from 8 to 24 months only. And fifth one is low operating costs are low. So operating costs are very, very low and this equipment does not need trained and skilled personnel also. Okay, so with the introduction of microprocessors, the small hydropower stations are run unattended. That means these are left to the microprocessors only. These will be automatically operating this SHP. So further freedom from fuel dependence together with long life of SHP plant, it makes the installation resistance to inflation. Next, sixth one is SHP is ideal decentralized energy generating source. That means it can supply energy to rural feeders, thereby we can reduce distribution losses to a large extent. So while distribution of this electrical power on transmission, we are having transmission distribution losses, right? So we can cut these distribution losses to a large extent. And seventh one is SHP can be synchronized with grid. So this can be synchronized with the grid and has been demonstrated in natural demonstration projects in Himachal Pradesh, Haryana and Tamil Nadu. And SHP synchronization with the utility grid improves voltage profile also. Eighth one, utilization factor is very high. Okay, so with the interconnection and synchronization with the grid, this plant utilization factor is very high. So this is very economically attractive. Ninth one, uses induction generators. Okay, so as we are taking small size and local availability of the utility grid, SHP stations, these are generally using induction generators. So if you use these induction generators, it will be not inexpensive. But also the problems of synchronization and interconnection are also simplified to a large extent. Okay, while you are working with the utility grid, you are getting the problem of synchronization and interconnection. So this will be also enabled when we use these induction generators. Next, 10th one is SHP is a catalyst in remote areas. That means it uses only simple technology in mobilizing productive resources and cutting, and it reduces the economic opportunities for the local residents. Next, 11th one. Most of the schemes here, see, only minor modifications are done for canals. So most of the schemes in India, these are concentrated on existing canals only. And irrigation system, so thereby the necessary minor modifications result in minimum disturbance to the surrounding environment. So whatever the place is there, we have to do some minor modifications for this situation, for this construction, so no disturbances will be there for the surrounding environment also. Okay, and next, last one, developed to augment hydropower capacity. So it is developed to augment hydropower capacity at existing irrigation dams and powerhouses. Okay, so the possibility of retrofits and additional turbines and the generator, the possibility of retrofits and additional turbines, what you are taking in the generators, makes the upgrading, modification of these present installations more attractive. Okay, and from the considerations, the higher efficiency and low cost per kW capacity, a larger set may be individually more economical, but this individual economic gain might be outweighed by the adverse economy of the consequences, such as we will see in the next slide. First one is low operation efficiency due to partial loading. Okay, we are getting low efficiencies. And second one is sudden loss of unit. If you, in the small scale hydroelectric plants, if you lost one unit, we are not having any supplementary unit for this. So we can lose, if there is any problem, we can suddenly lose the unit without any alarming alarms. And third one is longer gestation period. Okay, so we can expect here longer gestation periods. And fourth one is transport difficulties in the hilly areas. While constructing in the hilly areas, there will be a transportation problem and transmission losses from the hilly areas to the downside areas, and transmission cost will also be more. And seventh one is high cost of fossil fuels when compared to thermal. Okay, so these if you use the fossil fuels when compared to the hydro, we are having a cost problem here. So the fossil fuels will be more cost. So these are the adverse economic consequences if you not use this short one. Next one, why we are going for small hydro developments and why this small hydro development is more attractive, we will see now. So there is a formal definition for this small hydro plant, that if the power capacity is output or power output is having less up to 5,000 kilowatts, it is termed as a small hydro plant. Okay, and we can also call as, if you enter the concept of small hydro plant of having low head, say up to 15 meters, this consideration may also be called as small hydro development, but it is not generally true. It is not dependable on the restriction of the head. for small hydro development, but it depends upon the power output only. So actually, strictly speaking, if you say up to 5,000 kilowatts, we will say small hydro development, regardless of the head we are taking. Okay, and stations up to 1,000 kilowatts are called as micro, and up to 5,000 kilowatts it is called as mini. Okay, 10,000 micro and 5,000 it is called as mini. A concept of hydro, small hydro, these are naturally relative and very far from country to country. So these will be depending upon the country, depending upon the size of the existing development. If you take in USA, even 15,000 kilowatts is considered small hydro development. But while taking in other country like France, up to 3,000 kilowatts is considered as a small hydro development. Okay, so in USA, in a developed country, very developed country, 15,000 kilowatts is taken as normally declared as a small hydro development. But in France and India and the other countries, up to 3,000 kilowatts is taken as a small hydro development. Of course, in our India, we are taking that the limit is 5,000 kilowatts. We are calling it as small. And the hydroelectric installations having plants of higher unit rating can be generally made by utilizing convenient technology of hydro equipments and tailor-made designs both for the equipment and civil works of the power stations. It may be mentioned that sources of energy from sea waves or some coastal tides and ocean water, these itself attempts in development which are also gaining momentum. These also gain momentum, and these does not include the small hydro developments. There are distinct types of development requirements requiring altogether different types of technologies. So conceptually, small hydro development, it can be categorized into two types. Okay, first one is utilizing small discharges. See, first one, there are two types of, we can distinctly mention these small hydro power plants as two types. First one is, this first one utilizes small discharges and it is having high heads. And second type is the utilizing is having large discharges and having small heads. Okay, so when coming to the first one, utilizing small discharges and high heads, these are having physical size of the plant required is actually here small. And when coming to large discharges, the physical size of the plant will be high here. Okay, so for second one, where the discharges are handled high, the physical size will be actually high. So also for the later type, proper arrangement for entry of water and discharge is to be made also for this second one. Okay, so these are the considerations of the small hydro power plants. Now we will see the nature of small hydro developments. Okay, so this equipment technology, it is available to utilize a discharge as small as 200 liters per second. Okay, so simply we can say 0.2 cubic meters. And this head is ranging from even 1 meter, from a small range of 1 meter, and it is producing a output of 1 kilowatts with reasonable cost. And this development of potential relatively small is of course dependable on the present need and the resource we are having. So these small hydropower plants development is first type, which is only in the first type development, it is confined only to the hilly areas. And it is characterized by relatively very simple features of work. Okay, so this civil work involves, it comprises a small structure to divert the flow of the hilly stream or river, or simply a small water conductor system such as a channel, flame, or buried conduits, and powerhouse building and small length of transmission lines. So these are all the required conductor systems for this small hydro developments. And there is no need for substantial storage, and generally run of the river is utilized. Okay, so here what is the main advantage is no need of storage here. We can generally use the run of the river. When the river is going on running, we can use this water. So no need of storage, and the power generally consumed in the local areas, this eliminating requirement of long transmission lines. So by beside areas only can utilize this power. So the grid line which will be normally be far away, hence it has to be locally developed. And the futures of development of second type, which normally be, this is the first type used in the hilly areas. And coming to the second type, the head available is low and discharge have to be large, which will be economically variable, and this development takes place on small rivers, irrigation outlets, canal falls, etc. And the difference usually comes in because of regulating arrangement for inlet and discharge of water and the type of generating equipment. Suppose if you take bulb type or whatever the turbine required, we have to use larger size of powerhouse here. And the grid transmission line would generally be available nearer only, and the power station will be connected directly to it. Okay, this is a type of second classification. And next we will see the classification of small hydropower plants depending upon the different natures. So depending upon the as per Central Electricity Authority and Bureau of Indian Standards, the SHP, small hydropower plant stations, are classified as first one depending upon the capacity, the size what we are taking. If you take the micro one up to 100 kilowatts and the installation is 100 kilowatts, and if you take this mini size, this is from next 100 kilowatts, that is 101 kilowatts to 1000 kilowatts, and the installation capacity is 2000 kilowatts. And if you go for the small one, the unit capacity will be 1001, from above 1001 to 6000 kilowatts, and the installation capacity can go as higher as 15,000 kilowatts. And this is the second classification depending upon the head. If you take ultra low head, it will be below 3 meters, and for low head it is less than 30 meters, and if you take medium head it is between 30 to 75 meters, and if you take high head it is above 75 meters. Okay, these above mentioned definitions, these vary from country to country also. So for India, averagely we are defining this, and for USA or France, these will be below or above ranges. Because before talking only, I said that in USA, if you take 5,000 for our convenient, it is as small hydropower plant. For USA, it is the range 15,000 kilowatts is considered as small. So these may be, these unit capacities and installation capacities may be increased. And moreover, for France, 3,000 kilowatts is considered as a small hydropower plant. So these ranges may be decreased at that time. Okay, and the above mentioned will be varying from country to country on the basis of HATs available. Small hydel schemes, that is mini or micro and small, may be further categorized as independent scheme and subordinate scheme. So depending upon the basis of the HATs available, these small hydel schemes are further classified into two types. First one is independent scheme and second one is subordinate scheme. So coming to the first one, independent scheme, these independent schemes are those which is having a stream flow which is captured and which is regulated and which is developed for the principal objective of power generation only. Okay, and in these schemes, high head scheme and medium head schemes are considered. Okay, and when compared to both considerations, high head scheme and medium head scheme, between those two, medium head schemes are more successful. These low head schemes are not found economical in this independent generation schemes. Okay, so we do not use low head scheme. Only we use medium and high. In those two also, medium will be considered as most successful. And these schemes are successfully found in Himalayan territories, states like Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Nagaland, and Manipur, etc. Different places we found this independent schemes. And second one, coming to the subordinate schemes. Okay, so these subordinate schemes are those in which principal objective is other than the power generation. So for independent scheme, the principal objective is only for power generation. And for this subordinate schemes, it is other than the power generation. And the region in which there is extensive network of irrigation canals and where the water is stored in the form of reservoir, these are used for the subordinate schemes. Okay, because we are taking the primary aim is irrigation or drinking water and secondary aim is the power generation. Okay, so our primary aim for this subordinate scheme is irrigation and drinking water and secondary aim is the power generation. The feasible sites for the subordinate schemes is nothing but canals and peninsular India reservoirs. Okay, so these are the types of the schemes which are divided as per the basis of heads available, low, medium, high. Okay, next one, what are the components of hydroelectric scheme? We will discuss now. So this hydroelectric scheme contains these basic components, the basic and common components of hydroelectric schemes, and the diagram is shown in the next slide. Depending upon the diagram, we are taking these components, main one. So first one is diversion and intake. Second one is this one. Depending on the diagram. So first one is diversion and intake. Second one is distillating chamber. This one, distillating tank. And third one is water and conductive system. This one, water and conductive system. And fourth one is forebay or balancing reservoir. And fifth one is surge tank. This is the 4 bay. Surge tank is not given here. Surge tank. Next, if necessary, if you have to have any need for surge tank, we have to take. Next one is penstock. And next one is powerhouse. This one. Okay, here power will be generated. And this powerhouse, it contains turbines, generator, protection schemes, and controlling equipment, and dewatering, drainage system, auxiliary power systems, grounding, emergency and standby power system, lighting and ventilations. All will be equipped in this powerhouse. This is called as powerhouse combining. And last one is tail race channel. Okay, so these dams, barrages, and solid structures and trench type wires, these are usually employed to divert the required flow from the river. Here, these are diverting the required flow from the riverbed or streams to intake structures. Okay, these are the intake structures, streams. So for a small hydro stations, usually solid boulder structures we are using here. Solid boulder structures and trench type wires are employed here. Hydro stations. Trench type means it is suitable where rock is not available in the riverbed. And boulder type, if you take, it will be preferred if boulders are available in the river and the rock is encountered in the riverbed with the meter depth, 1 meter depth. If solid boulder structure type wire is used in non-rocky foundations, maintenance and repair of damages due to soar may create some problems here. So the diversion wire should be capable of diverting all the LEN season flows. All the season flows it has to divert. And the structure will be reasonably safe during monsoon floods also. In the hilly streams, if you take in hilly streams, diversion structures face recurring problems due to shocking of intakes. So further ungrounded structures are vulnerable to damage from heavy boulders and bed loads. So if you go for trench type wires, these are preferred for from these considerations. And if you take the distillating chamber, okay, so this is simply explanation about the diversion intake. First one, if you take, second one, distillating tank or chamber. It is necessary where the water contains large quantities of source slit to maintain erosion damage to the turbines, runner, etc. For this, we are using this distillation tank. And the extent of this distillation requirements will be dependable upon the quantum and types of slit carried by the streams and the runner material also. So abrasion effect becomes more pronounced with increasing head. The distillating chamber is designed to exclude the particles, to avoid the particles corrosion than the sizes mentioned in the tables. Okay, so for various heads of water to achieve power draft free of abrasion effects, we are using this. For medium head, we are using the size of slit particles to be removed is 0.2 to 0.5 mm. And for high head size, it is ranging from the size of slit particles to be removed are 0.1 to 0.2 millimeters. And next, coming to water conductive system. This system will be designed to ensure least losses of head and losses of water due to sea passage. And flow velocity should be adequate enough to prevent reduction of discharge capacity due to slitting of slit also. And this canal will be lined with the tiles. Okay, so this canal is equipped with the tiles on the borders. So for small power stations, it is economical to have lining with low density polyethylene, LDPE film we are taking, and single tile cover, especially when it transfers porous strata. So if the next one, forebay or balancing reservoir. If the forebay is used as a balancing reservoir, storage of about 4 to 6 hours will be provided on the economic reasons. So if the forebay is just used as a transit point, storage of